This time on Road and Race, how to change coolant.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Road and Race. On this episode we'll be flushing out the old horrible coolant in my car and putting in fresh new stuff. I'm doing this on my Boxster, but the principle is the same for all cars. Why am I changing it? Well, coolant has two additives, an antifreeze and a rust inhibitor. Over time both these wear out. I was able to test the level of antifreeze in my car with a hydrometer, and that was fine. But what I can't test is the level of rust inhibitor that remains. So because I don't know how old the coolant is, I'm going to change it.
First, get your car level on ramps and jack stands. Next, we want to drain the old coolant out. For most cars, the drain plug will be under the front of the car, but on a mid-engine car like the Boxster, it's at the rear. You'll need to remove this plastic panel to get access. Here it is removed, and here are the nuts I had to remove. The coolant also circulates through the car's heating system, so we'll want to drain it all out of there too. To do this, click the ignition on and set the heater to its hottest setting. This will open up the heater valve. Now get back under the car, put on gloves and eye protection and place a drain pan down. Crack open the drain plug. Make sure the car is cooled down first, as you don't want boiling hot coolant getting on you. Next up, slowly release the coolant filler cap. Waiting for the coolant to drain out can take a while, so now's a perfect time for some tea.
This would normally get all the coolant out of the system, but on the Boxster there's an additional step. You see, the engine is at the rear and the radiators are at the front, so there's still coolant remaining in the hoses that connect them up.
So get back under the car, disconnect these three hoses and let them drain. For me, this was the hardest part, as I was doing this in the dead of winter and they didn't want to budge. In the end, I'd use a hairdryer to warm them up to get them off. Once all the coolant is out, refit the hoses and secure them with clamps. You can reuse your clamps, but it's always best to get new ones if you can. Now you can refit the drain plug, making sure to use a new washer. On the Boxster, you torque it to 15 Newton meters, but check your car's manual for its setting.
At this stage you can go straight to filling your car with new coolant, or you can take an additional step and flush the system with pure distilled or deionized water. I don't know what type of coolant was in my car before, so I'm going to flush the system. Your car's manual will tell you how much water you need to do this, but in my Boxster you need 6 gallons or 22 litres.
Remove this tray and lift the bleeder valve. Slowly pour in the deionized water until the reservoir is full. If you have the automatic Tiptronic Boxster, then you'll need to remove fuse B1. This disables the ATF cooler shut-off valve and also the instrument cluster. Start the engine and get the car up to operating temperature. You can check this as the front radiator fans will be on. Next, run the car at 2500 RPM for 5 minutes and raise the revs briefly to 5000 every 30 seconds and top off. Repeat the 5-minute revving process again. Allow the engine to idle until the radiator cooling fans cycle on then off. Then turn the engine off and replace fuse B1. Top off to the maximum level. On the Boxster it's a bit hard to see. Flip down the bleeder valve and replace the tray. Follow the previous process to drain the system again.
So now the system is empty again and we can add the new coolant. What coolant to use? Well, Porsche sell their own coolant, but it's very expensive, especially as you need 6 gallons. So I did some research and bought this stuff, as it was much cheaper and should be the same as what Porsche use. It uses the same organic acid technology and should last up to 5 years. It's also in this lovely nuclear pink.
If you want to know more about coolant, well, everything in fact, I've done a really nerdy video about it, which you can click to view now. The process to fill with coolant is the same as before. Fill, warm, rev, top up, etc. Go for a 20-minute test drive. If the temperature gauge tells you the engine is getting too hot, then there's either air in the system or the car needs more coolant added. You'll need to repeat the 5-minute revving process again to rectify this. Also, it's a good idea to check for any leaks from the hoses. Next time on Road and Race. I finish up some loose ends by fixing the broken indicators, change the power steering fluid, and remove some pesky algae. If you found this video useful, please subscribe and hit the like button as it really helps us make more shows. Please feel free to get in touch by leaving a comment on this video and I reply to everyone. Links to follow us on social media are in the description box. Thanks for watching.